For more on the UAAP action this past weekend, kasama natin ang analyst na si Enzo Flojo, aka The Hoop Nut, back here on The Score tonight.
What's up, Todd?
Sir Enzo, a lot is up, especially with the UAAP
Yes.
action and the things that happen outside the court on social media and
Naku.
on Twitter. At gusto ko na simulan yan sapagkat naging mainit na balita yung mga komento ni Coach Tab Baldwin ng
Yun na nga.
Ateneo tungkol sa paglipat ni Dave Ildefonso sa NU. In your opinion, Enzo, what can we make of these comments by Coach Tab Baldwin at yung pag-limit nila kay Dave Ildefonso sa pagharap ng Ateneo at ng NU?
Well, I think if you take those comments in a vacuum, there's nothing really wrong with what Coach Tab said. He was remarking about the recruitment process and merely citing Dave as a stark example. Because let's face it, Dave Ildefonso coming out of high school as a champion for the Ateneo Blue Eaglets and then playing for the RP Youth team a few months ago, he really had... he was a headliner talaga and a potentially impactful, so to speak, recruit coming into the seniors division. And for a program that's traditionally strong and attractive like Ateneo, to lose that kind of talent to another school in the UAAP, that's something that I think a lot of people were not really expecting. But Dave chose to go to NU because he wanted to follow his older brother and play with his for his father, who's part of the coaching staff in NU. So you can't really blame the kid for doing that. But I think what compounded things for Coach Tab and his comments was the fact that yung timing ton parang Ateneo came off a lopsided win against NU. And then to say those things after that lopsided win, even if I'm 100% sure that Coach Tab didn't really mean anything degrading by those comments, it rubbed people off the wrong way. And when Dave actually heard those comments from our friends from the media, he also, I think, was taken aback a little bit. And I think he's going to use that as fuel for their next encounter in the second round. But fortunately, just this morning, Coach Tab issued a statement apologizing to Dave, to his family, and to the NU community. Because even if I honestly don't think he really meant anything degrading by what he said, in hindsight, he knows that maybe he could have expressed those ideas in a different manner.
Well, that's a great way to put it, Sir Enzo. Let's leave that issue behind for now and focus on more important topics, just like basketball. Ateneo looks good after that opening day defeat against Adamson. What are some of the positive things that you saw from the defending champions? And if you saw any chinks in their armor, ano yung mga yun?
Well, in that first game against Adamson, I thought they were playing a little too tight. I mean, they had sky-high expectations coming into the season. A lot of people were already saying that a sweep was in the cards for Ateneo, especially after they performed pre-season, winning tournaments left and right, performing well in the Jones Cup internationally as well. So I thought they played a little too tight in that first game, and against an Adamson team that was very scrappy and aggressive on defense, Ateneo just fell into that trap. But their last two games against UP and against NU, they were a little more loose, I think, and they spread the wealth a bit more in terms of production, as we saw against NU. 30 Ravenna was their leading scorer with only about 13 points, if I'm not mistaken, and everyone else scored mga 8 points or below lang, but that's a lot of players. So the balance and depth of Ateneo is showing right now in their last two games. And if I'm the other 7 teams in the league, I'd be shaking in my boots a little bit because it seems like they're finally into their rhythm. The pressure of sweeping the competition, even if they don't admit it out loud, the pressure was there before.
Yes.
It's no longer there for Ateneo, and they're playing more loosely.
And the reason why it's no longer there is, of course, the great performance of the Adamson Soaring Falcons. 3-0, their best start since our good friend Pong Ducana started tabulating all of the stats in 2003. But they had a close one against UST. The game was close until the end. Adamson pulled away. What were some of the things that you took from that game?
Well, Adamson's defense. They're the number one offensive team right now in terms of points per game. But I think especially in the win against Ateneo and then against UST 2 nights ago, it was their defense that was stark for me. They also lead the league in steals right now, and I think their scrappy, relentless, I think tireless full court pressure defense, a trademark of Coach Franz Pamarin, it's been working wonders for them. And couple that with the fact na may mga magic bunot si Coach Franz. The most standout magic bunot so far is Vince Magbuhos. We talked about him prior to the start of the show and thought he's from Italy. Not a lot of people know much about him, but he's been an X factor for Coach Franz and Adamson. And of course, the continued emergence of Jeric Amnisi. He's averaging 20 points per game, second leading scorer so far in the season. He's really coming into his own as the leader of this Adamson squad.
What about for UST? What is the Alden Ayo effect on this batch of Growling Tigers, Enzo?
Well, even if they haven't really put up a lot of wins, their current record is 1 win, 2 losses. What you like about UST is it seems like they have a different, stronger identity now compared to seasons past. Because of Alden Ayo's entry, they seem a little tougher. Even if they're going up against deeper, bigger teams, they're able to stick for long stretches of the game, and it's only really their experience and their lack of depth that allows them to slip in the end game. But there are a lot of positives so far for this team. Renzo Subido has been a good scorer for them so far. He's one of the top scorers in the league. CJ Cancino obviously has been a breakout star for them, even if he's played only 3 games in the seniors division. So a lot of positives to take if you're UST. And if you're the other teams, anytime you play UST, you know that you cannot take this team lightly, because if you do, then they are good enough and gritty enough to pull the rug from under your feet.
Maybe if there's one team that we could say a lot of people were excited about before the start of the season but hasn't really lived up to that hype, maybe we could point out UP, because this is a team that added Bright Acueti, of course the improvement of the Gomez de Liaño brothers are there, but they suffered another defeat against FEU, and it was FEU's biggest win of the season.
I don't think Bright Acueti's been able to settle down into the groove as far as actual UAAP competition. I mean, we all know, and you know for a fact, Anton, how amazing he was in the NCAA, but there's a big adjustment in terms of he missed playing for 1 whole year. He doesn't seem as chiseled as before when he was playing for Perpetual. And I think the system of UP right now, I'm not sure if they know how to maximize his skill set just yet. I love the fact that Bright Acueti is averaging about 13 rebounds and is really selfless with the basketball. But if you're Bright Acueti and you're the cornerstone of this UP basketball team, I mean, let's face it, as good as Juan Gomez Iliano is and Paul Desiderio is, this team will go only as far as Bright takes them this season. He has to take charge. And averaging only about 10 points per game is not going to cut it. So he has to really get those scoring cudgels and aminin na this is my team, and he has to take charge.
Well, let's see if he will wake up, because they will play the unbeaten Adamson Falcons on Wednesday.
Game,
Last game of the weekend, Enzo, LaSalle beating UE and Justin Baltazar. Another solid performance. He got Player of the Week honors.
Well, that was his second straight double-double to start the season. He had 17 points and 12 rebounds in their prior game against NU. Following that up with 16 points, 14 rebounds, and 2 blocks against UE. I did that game together with our friend Nico, and we were amazed at how he's quickly developed into and comfortably fit into that role of their main big man. I mean, a lot of people were talking about someone else as their new main big man up front coming to the season. We're talking about New Zealander Taane Samuel, who's injured. But Baltazar has really stepped into that role comfortably, and he looks really good as the star big man for LaSalle. He's doing everything. Scoring, rebounding, blocking shots, anything you ask of him, he's been able to do. And just kudos to that young guy.
What about the University of the East? Despite still being winless, what are some of the positive things that you see under the system of Coach Joe Silva?
Well, you like the fact that, early on in this game, Alvin Pasaol was not able to make an impact because of foul trouble. I think start of the third quarter, he already incurred his 3rd and 4th foul in succession. So he had to sit for long stretches in the game. And he only scored 5 points in the first 3 quarters. But that that opened up the opportunity for guys like Jason Varilla, for Philip Manalang, to really rise above and take charge. And they showed that in that particular game. Even if it was clear that LaSalle was the deeper team and they held a double-digit lead for most of the game, UE did not back down, and they were not too far behind na masasabi mong wala, talo na to. Even if they were behind by 15, 16, 17, they'd get it down to 8, down to 7. They'd threaten LaSalle up until the fourth quarter when Pasaol all of a sudden exploded for 17 fourth quarter points. So you like the fact that there's still a lot of fight and a lot of that warrior spirit that you can see from the UE Red Warriors.
Sir Enzo, I know it's still very early, but if you were to award an early MVP for UAAP season 81, who would that be?
Jerick Ahamisi.
Okay.
For sure. I mean, the most basic way to go about that conversation is to identify the best player on the best team. And so far, Adamson's the only unbeaten team, and the best player on that team has been Jerick Ahamisi. You know, last year, I think he took a step back compared to his rookie season, but now, finally, I think he's slowly recovering from that sophomore slump, and he's really coming into his own. He's making a name for himself, and he, for me, could be the best shooting guard by the time we end season 81.
Sean Manganti, who was here the other night, believes that he is the best shooter in collegiate basketball. Solid choice, Sir Enzo, and thank you so much. I'm looking forward to working with you in the UAAP.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you very much. Hey everybody, this is Anton Rojas. Subscribe to the ABS-CBN Sports and Action YouTube channel by simply clicking on the bell button for more updates.